The flyer didn't wait for me to notice it. It drifted down like a paper airplane, did a cocky loop, and tapped my ankle as if to say, "You look dead inside." Neon headline, flame logo, QR code like a cursed crossword. Demon Life Coach, first session free. No soul down. Results may vary by cosmos. If you're asking what kind of adult sees that and decides to onboard with Hell's HR, hi, I'm Brad, 32, project coordinator. My manager calls me a safe pair of hands. I own 3 suits, all of them wrinkled in unique and historic ways. My plant has died 4 times and I've learned nothing. Also, and I hate this, I've spent too long marinating in forums that treat dating like a boss fight. I'm trying to be a different person than the comments I've upvoted, I'll tell you that. I rerouted to a game shop that sells incense and regret, bought a Ouija board, and walked home feeling like I'd just scheduled performance reviews with Destiny. I cleared my coffee table, lit my least threatening candle, and set the planchette down like a mouse waiting for the universe. 2 fingers, deep breath, Azaz, the name on the flyer. I said to my ceiling. Demon Life Coach, first session free, no soul down, are you out there? The candle shimmied, a soft whump of smoke. The temperature dropped, and then he stepped out of the haze like a closing argument. Tall, crisp, cheekbones high as you can see, and a purple suit so immaculate it could have baptized me. Wide lapels, pocket square with opinions, and shoes polished to a philosophical point. "Brad, you rang?" he said. Azaz, I managed, standing in front of my laundry pile. "Love the branding." He surveyed my studio with professional tenderness. "Cozy, vulnerable to gravity, vanilla, a bold scent choice for summoning, my friend. And do I detect the hint of apple crisp?" He smiled without teeth. "I'm Azaz, mid-tier demon rebranded as a performance alchemist. Deliverables, momentum, competence, charm, constraints, your habits, your attitude, and the fact that you've been speedrunning rock bottom on 2x. "Fair," I said, because a precise roast is honest. "I need help." He produced a clipboard from smoke. It had tabs. "Intake, what do you want?" The truth fell out before pride could sand it down. "A promotion and the love of my life." "Ambitious, in scope and delusion. We can work with both. Promotion timeline." "Panel interview tomorrow. It's me versus someone with vision." "Romance timeline." "Before I die, preferably this fiscal year. Also, I've been online in bad places. I don't want to be that guy." "Then don't," he said simply. "We replace entitlement with curiosity. We practice consent, humor, and laundry. Congratulations, you have hired a better teacher." With a flick, a parchment contract unrolled across my table, edges smoking like a dramatic brisket. The agreement in handsome menace. "Free session is real. Ongoing plan includes milestones, feedback, and a minor soul retainer." He said it like a waiter suggesting wine. "No, I want boundaries, no biblical bloodstorms, and I want a safe word." He blinked, then grinned like a cat discovering a laser pointer that points back. A client with a spine. Name the safe word, please." "Deprioritize." Project Manager Core, he murmured, pleased. He took out a fountain pen, and the words "No Soul Down" for First Promise glowed brighter, Bloodstorms disabled until 8 a.m., local only, and safe word deprioritize. He signed and I signed. The contract zipped away with the polite chime of a file uploaded. Goals. Tomorrow we heist your promotion. Then we prototype romance. Tools you receive today? An annoying-ass 7-pound dog that nips at your heels every time you stay too long on your phone, a list of forbidden phrases, actually, and as a high IQ thinker, and females, and a pack of index cards labeled "Stories Where I Was Wrong and Fixed It." I nodded. What about wardrobe? He opened my closet with 2 fingers and a prayer. Posture first. Shoulders back like you respect your lungs. Chin level like you're done apologizing for existing. And smile with molars, not your gums. All right. You have a promotion and an interview coming up. We'll get that taken care of, don't you worry. And love? Verbs and listening, he said. He conjured a dating app that didn't feel like a trap and scrolled like he was shuffling a tarot deck. And pick someone you're genuinely curious about. Invite, don't audition. 1 sentence, your treat, specific time. A profile, denim jacket, enamel pin, bio about used bookstores and chaotic sourdough. I typed, would you like a coffee tomorrow at 11 at Bean Sector? My treat. I hovered. I sent. I threw my phone onto the couch before it could bite me. It buzzed. Yes, smiley face. I stared at Azaz like he'd hacked physics. That was easy. You didn't write an essay about how great you are. We ran a mock panel interview under the stern gaze of my zombie plant, which perked one front as if to say, finally. Azaz played the whole panel with unsettling accuracy. All right, morning plan. Right AirPod only. I'll be your closed captions. If I push too far, use the safe word. We pivot. You will not cosplay confidence. You will borrow mine until yours shows up. So, why me? I asked. The question had been dog-paddling in my chest since the flyer smacked me. He considered. Because the flyer landed at your feet and you didn't put it into a storm drain. Because you read your contract and asked for better. Because under the forums and the burritos and the oven mitt feedback, there's a man who wants to be useful and kind and, when necessary, dangerously charming. He angled his head, listening to a calendar only he could hear. Also, I get a bonus if you cry at work in a positive way. That's a category? It is now. He tapped the candle and it curtsied out. Sleep. Tomorrow we take your job, and the day after we go on a date without treating a person like a puzzle. Use mouthwash. He vanished with a neat corporate ding. I stood there in the quiet, looked at the Ouija board, the mock panel invite on my phone, and the text from a woman that said yes, smiley face. And for the first time in a long time, tomorrow felt like a door I was excited to open. By 9:58 the next morning, I was in a small conference room and 3 interviewers were there waiting for me. 3 waters, and a bowl of mints from the late Bronze Age. Right AirPod in. Azaz in my ear. Remember, Star. If you panic, say the safe word. Also, if they ask about culture, say, you're a wolf among Gantt charts. I tapped the AirPod twice and said, heard you, we'll ignore the wolf thing. Panel. Garrick, Priya, Janine. Priya opened. Thanks for coming, Brad. We'll keep it conversational. Say you love conversation almost as much as outcomes. Sounds good. Happy to be here. So, tell us about a recent win and your impact. Say you increase velocity 400%. Use the word shockwave. I didn't. 2 months ago, we had overlapping releases that kept stepping on each other. My part was small but clear. We didn't have one view of work. I set up a shared board, moved our stand-ups to 15 minutes, and added a short Tuesday check-in for dependencies. I didn't run more meetings, just made the ones we had more useful. After about 6 weeks, we went from missing 2 out of 5 dates to hitting 4 out of 5. Support volume dipped a little because fewer surprises went out the door. Garrick nodded, scribbled something normal. Relief. Boo! Where was Shockwave? Fine. Tell us about a time you dropped the ball and what you changed. Cry. Then say you rose like a phoenix. I missed a docs update and a tiny settings change. It felt minor until people started opening tickets. I owned it into the retro, apologized to support for the noise, and moved the FAQs into our repo room so they could follow the same review flow as code. Now when we ship, a checklist pings the dock owner before we flip the switch. Priya's smile edged up. What's the metric? Nothing dramatic. Fewer how do I tickets that week, and no repeat of that missed sense. Mostly I sleep better. Soft, human and simple, and annoyingly effective, Azaz said. Everything is top priority. How do you decide what to do first? Say I'm allergic to low leverage. Then define leverage and how to use it over your enemies. I pointed to the whiteboard. I try to make trade-offs visible. I use a basic impact versus effort box so we're not arguing feelings. If someone says urgent, I ask who's affected, how many and for how long. Then we slice something we can ship this week to prove or disprove the need. If too many things are red, I ask leadership to pick one. I found that writing the options on the wall makes it easier to say not now without drama. Garrick underlined, pleased in a quiet way. You refuse to panic as a roadmap without saying the phrase, refuse panic as a roadmap. Subtle. I hate how much I liked it. The interview went on for some time, and at the end, Azaz, low in my ear, said, Close politely. No slogans. Thank you so much for your time. If you go another direction, I appreciate the clarity today. We shook hands. I leaned against the wall in the hall and let the air out of my lungs. You sounded like a person I'd let ruin my calendar. I hate it and I love it. Too plain? I whispered. Plain is the new miraculous. You answered like you've actually done the work. Also, you ignored every one of my worst ideas, which is growth for both of us. All right, tonight we prep the date. Tomorrow you update LinkedIn without the word ninja in it. Copy. Proud of you, Brad. And his voice faded out. After the panel, I didn't sprint to social media. I walked, hydrated, and let the next steps subject line in my inbox sit like a warm coal. On the train ride home, I texted June to confirm the plan we'd set yesterday. Bean sector 11 a.m. my treat, and she replied, Perfect. See you then. Azaz did a quick debrief. I ironed a shirt, set an alarm, and slept. In the morning, I charged my right AirPod, pocketed cash so I wouldn't wrestle an app at the counter, and headed out early because nerves never run slow. Bean sector smelled like fresh espresso and warm sugar. I got there 9 minutes early because Azaz said on time is late, and also because I didn't trust my nerves not to sabotage my commute. He had me in a plain navy shirt, ironed, clean sneakers, and the kind of cologne that says, I know soap exists, not I lost a fight with a mall kiosk. Azaz in my right ear. Check in. Posture, breath. Remember, This isn't an audition. Ask, listen, reflect. Copy, I murmured into my water. She arrived in a denim jacket with the "Be kind or else" pinned from her profile and hair pulled back like she had stuff to do later, and was generous enough to put this first. Brad? She said. June? I stood, then paused halfway into a hug. Handshake or hug? A hug, she said, and we executed a competent one. No lingering, no shoulder collisions. Just two humans aligned for 3 seconds and proud of it. Consent. We love to see it, Brad. We ordered. I stuck to iced coffee, and June got a cappuccino and a lemon bar. I paid without turning it into a performance art piece. We found a small table near the window where the light made everything look a little kinder. Thanks for being clear in your message, June said, stirring her cappuccino with a seriousness I respected. The amount of sometime in my inbox is starting to feel like a scheduling curse. I smiled. I have a demon life coach who would tackle me if I wrote sometime. Her eyebrows did a tiny surprise jump that said she liked the man who chose a bit and committed. Bold opener. Do not elaborate, Azaz said into my ear. I'm kidding. Mostly. So, your pin. I like the threat built in. June laughed. I got it from a fair. It keeps me honest. And the or else thing is mostly at myself. She broke the lemon bar in half and slid a piece onto a napkin toward me. I bake sometimes. We were quiet for a beat in the good way. The kind that means reset, not rescue, and that you're comfortable in the silence. I asked about the book tote leaning against her chair, and she lit up, telling me about a used bookstore she loves to go to, how she volunteers at a Saturday reading program, and how 7-year-olds will absolutely roast your voice if you stumble through dragon names. Mirror it back. 3-word reflection. Don't make it therapy. Vibes and Grudges is the name, huh? I'd shop there. What do the kids roast you about most? My dragon voices, she said, delighted to be asked. I have 2. British Wizard Uncle and Inexplicable Staten Island. Those are opposites. Exactly. The kids hate both of them and insist I do a regular voice. She popped a little bit of a lemon bar into her mouth. What about you? What do you do when you're not scheduling 9 versions of Tuesday? Small things. Trying to cook more. Real meals. Walking without a podcast on, reading non-doom and gloom. I got tired of feeling like a consumer of takes. I want to be a person again. Ooh, that was good. Don't undercut it with a joke. June nodded. Same. I went on a take detox last spring. Thought my brain was broken for a week and then it landed. My friends were like, welcome back to the group chat. We fell into an easy rhythm. Small questions, small answers, little refills. After about 45 minutes that only felt like 20, the date seemed like it was coming to a close. But a good close. I need to head out, June said. I tutor at 1. All right, Brad. Ask, clean, specific, and do not say sometime. I'd like to see you again. Saturday afternoon? Used bookstore with Vibes and Grudges? June smiled. I'm in. 2 o'clock? 2. A handshake or hug? She said, already stepping in. We traded numbers like adults so we wouldn't have to talk just through the app. No coyness, no negotiations, and she headed right, and I stood there long enough to watch her blend into the Saturday, and then force myself to move before I became a statue. In my ear, gentler than I'd ever heard him, you did that. I barely even helped. I almost confessed to my entire internet history. And instead, you told one true thing and let it be enough. Consider me impressed. Are you being nice? Don't tell anyone, it'll ruin the brand. I walked a few blocks before I let myself grin like a man who got upgraded from a middle seat to an exit row. At a crosswalk, a little kid pointed at nothing and said, "Purple man, I pretended I didn't hear that, and Azaz pretended he hadn't arranged it. Back at my place, I dropped my keys in the dish and sat on the couch with that good, dumb post-win ache in my chest. My phone buzzed. Had fun. See you Saturday. Frame that in your mind. Small, kind, and clear. I typed, looking forward to it, then put the phone down. All right, debrief. You asked, listened, and reflected. You didn't try to be the main character. You didn't perform failure for points. You helped when a thing fell. You asked clearly to see her again. We are, dare I say, trending. Any notes? I said, bracing. A hydrate. You humans leak a hope through your eyes when you get what you want and it dehydrates you. I laughed, went to the kitchen and drank some water, looked at the Ouija board on top of my bookshelf, and it sat there like a framed degree in attempting to be different. The word deprioritize scribbled on a sticky note beside it made me grin. All right, I said to Azaz, who was now sitting on my couch. Next step? You breathe for 20 minutes. Then we make some pizza rolls and watch something dumb. And then, when the offer letter arrives tonight, as it will, we will celebrate like mortals, with carbs and television and one small smug high five. Deal, I said. I lay back, the ceiling doing that slow afternoon blur, and let the day be exactly as big as it was. Not a movie, not a legend. Just a good coffee with a person I like to know, and a demon in a purple suit who, against odds, was teaching me how to be a person without burning anything down. Later that night I got an email. The offer letter in my inbox at 7:42 p.m. We'd like to make this official. Title bump, real money, start date, a paragraph about impact, and at the bottom I signed, attached, and sent it and grinned at my screen. Azaz on the couch beside me said, per clause 7b, we celebrate wins with mortal sacrament. Pizza rolls? Pizza rolls. Oven preheats, we fall onto the couch. The Ouija board watches from the bookshelf. I pack the bong. The lighter flicks itself on with theatrical restraint. We inhale, cough politely, and let the TV do its job. Tomorrow, he says, exhaling a smoke ring, and he blew a dragon through it. And tell 2 people the news. Resist the high school blast. Copy. You know, if this were a movie, this is where you'd reveal some hidden kind of clause in there. Azaz taps the air. A contract scrolls into being, parchment and elegant. Near the bottom a line glows. Addendum O. Successful outcome conversion. Upon achievement of designated milestones, the client's soul shall be held in escrow for mentorship alignment and continuous improvement. I sit up. Excuse me? Boilerplate. No one ever reads the boilerplate. I negotiated no soul down. This is soul later. A different proposition. I stare. He stares back, equal parts amused and fond. Then he sighs, produces a fountain pen that leaks purple light and carves a line through it. It squeals, curls, and dissolves into confetti that smells like bakery sugar. There, Noel, consider your soul non-billable. I had such a good time with you that I think we're actually friends. I'll go ahead and leave your soul to yourself. Lead with that next time, please. I require drama, he says, but Azaz is smiling. The oven beeps and tray 1 goes in. We eat like people who had a day. The TV judge is mean and vicious, but also polite in her own way, and pretty damn funny too. My plant looks greener just for fun. Somehow he seems to have come back to life yet again. So where do you go when you're not here, Azaz? Client work, mastermind chats, continuing education, he says, counting on transparent fingers. And taught a banshee how to use a calendar today. coached a vampire through networking at day conferences, conducted a hostile takeover of a to-do list. I also spoke with an eldritch being that helped another guy on a date not too long ago. He's a pretty cool guy. Ilganax or something? All those old gods have crazy names. He snaps and a brass key appears in his palm. He handed it to me. Open the door across the hall tomorrow and I'll be there. You got an apartment? Unit 2B. Excellent, light, offended wallpaper, and a closet that leads to the building's emotional infrastructure. How'd you get it? It was occupied. Netherworld sublet, a very quick process. Did you remove them from this plane? He waves a hand. Briefly, laid on rent, cruel to their blender. I opened a courtesy portal. They'll return with a new, renewed suspect for property owners. We sit there and watch TV for a bit and finish our pizza rolls. Saturday at 2, you want to hang out? Oh, wait. That is your date, he said without looking at the TV. Bookstore date. You memorize my calendar. I wrote your calendar, but you'll run the date. No puppet strings, and if I whisper unhelpfully, use the safe word. I'll shut up and watch like a proud gargoyle from the distance. Deal. We clink water glasses like adults who don't hate being adults anymore. To promotions, he says. To omitting spicy clauses, I add. And to reading the fine print, he finishes. The TV laughter carries us. Outside, the night does its night routine. Inside, my place smells like cardamom, pizza, and the rare chemical compound of not being alone anymore. When credits roll, I stand, stretch, and turn to Azaz. Same time tomorrow? I ask. Yeah. Come on over across the hall, my new mortal friend.